Thank you for purchasing a Norseman Structures building. Please watch this video and review your installation manual before you begin construction of your building. It is important to wear proper safety gear such as hard hats, safety glasses, steel-toed footwear, and safety vests. Please follow safe work practices at all times. An installation manual, component list, and owner's warranty and maintenance manual will be found attached to the inside of the lid of one of the crates that your building arrives in. The installation manual will outline what tools and equipment you will need to install your Norseman Structures building. If at any time during construction you need assistance, please contact your local dealer or our customer service department at 1-855-385-2782 or visit norsemanstructures.com. Using the component list, ensure that all parts listed are in the shipping crate. A list of parts for your building is also shown on page 1 of your installation manual. Ensure your site is level and the ground is properly prepared. For this video presentation, we are using a mock-up of a pre-constructed ground mount foundation. This foundation is for demonstration purposes only. If you haven't already prepared your foundation, please see your installation manual for instructions. For certain building widths, a concrete foundation option is available. When installing on a concrete foundation, you will use concrete or wedge anchors. When installing on the ground, you will use duckbill anchors and rebar pins. If you are using one of these foundation options, please refer to your installation manual or call your local building consultant for specifics. The installation process for the building itself is the same regardless of the foundation type used. Ensure your foundation is square and reflects the exact dimensions of your building. Locate the base plates. For this video presentation, the base plates have been secured to a wooden base. There are 3 types of base plates: corner left, corner right, and common. From the inside of your building, corner left is on your left-hand side, corner right is on your right-hand side, common would be in between. Locate the cover lashing winches. Cover lashing winches are used to secure the cover to the frame and are attached to the bracket on the base plates. Install the cover lashing winches on the corner base plates in the upper hole of the winch bracket using 5/8 inch by 1 1/4 inch bolts and nuts. Install 1 cover lashing winch at each common base plate. Make sure the winches have been attached to the side of the post facing outward. Some building models require winches adjacent to the corner base plates on one end of the building. Please check your installation manual for specific locations. Once your base plates have been installed, you can begin to assemble the arches. Locate the arch sections for your building. Please note that the terms arch and truss are used interchangeably in your installation manual. In this installation video, we will only use the term arch. There are 5 sections to a full arch. There are 2 leg sections, 2 cornerstone sections, and 1 keystone section. Lay the arch sections flat on level ground. Insert the swedged end of the cornerstone sections into the keystone sections and install the leg sections into the cornerstones. It is very important to install with the holes parallel to the ground. Fasten with Tech 3 number 12 14 by 1 1/4 inch screws using 3 screws per joint. Do not install the screws on the outside of the arch where the fabric will rest. Wrap each joint with tape to protect the fabric from any sharp edges. Install 3 Tech 3 number 12 14 by 1 1/4 inch screws from the side at each arch base. Locate purlin and header angle brackets for your building. Install purlins at the pre-drilled holes in the sides at the top center of the arches using 1/2 inch by 4 inch carriage bolts, washers, and nuts. Install the bolts from the outside of the building. When installing the purlins, remember to install the header angle brackets on the outside arches only, using a single hole. Continue installing arches and purlins until the building framework is complete. Remember to install the header angle brackets at both ends of the building. The purlins will overlap where they are bolted at the arches. Based on your building requirement, the end wall framework can consist of standard 8-foot headers or optional 10-foot headers. The building in this installation video will have 2 headers, a standard 8-foot for the closed end and an optional 10-foot for the door end. Locate the 8 and 10-foot header section components. To assemble the 8-foot header, insert the 2.5 inch pipe sleeve equally into the 2 7/8 inch header sections. Ensure that the flattened ends are parallel and that the header sections are touching before securing with Tech 3 screws. To install the 8-foot header, locate the 5/8 inch by 2 inch bolts. Safely raise the header and connect to the header angle bracket. Secure the sleeve and insert with 6 Tech 3 number 12 14 by 1 1/4 inch screws. Place a level on the header to see that it is level and adjust if necessary. Locate the vertical and vertical hardware. Note that the end wall component list can be found in the manual. Verticals are used to support the header. Please ensure that your building is plumb before proceeding. Now you will install the verticals on the end with the 8-foot header. It will have a single vertical centered in the end. Verticals without welded plates are used for personnel doors on ends without openings. Position the vertical tubes on the end wall base plates and then attach to the header using a saddle bracket with tab, a 5/8 inch by 1 1/2 inch bolt and nut, and a 1/2 inch by 4 1/2 inch carriage bolt, washer, and nut. Please note that the verticals are installed behind the brackets. Install 3 screws into the base plate and vertical connection. Holes must be drilled for the 10-foot header. Measure and mark 41 and 5/16 inches from the keystone joint. Drill a 9/16 inch hole and attach the header angles using 1/2 inch by 4 inch carriage bolt and nut. For the 10-foot header, you will receive 74 3/4 inches standard horizontal tube. To assemble the 10-foot header, measure and cut 4 inches off of the standard horizontal tube. When installing the optional 10-foot header, you may need to clip the corners of the header if they interfere with the bracket. Safely attach the header to the brackets in the lower hole using 5/8 inch by 2 inch bolts and nuts. Locate the 3 sections for your 10-foot header and assemble a 190-inch header using a sleeve section and secure with 6 Tech 3 number 12 14 by 1 1/4 inch screws. Ensure that the flattened ends are parallel and that the header sections are touching before securing. We will now install the verticals for the 10-foot roll-up door. Remember to install the verticals the correct distance apart based on your door dimensions. Position the vertical tubes on the end wall base plates and then attach to the header using a saddle bracket with tab, a 5/8 inch by 1 1/2 inch bolt and nut, and a 1/2 inch by 4 1/2 inch carriage bolt, washer, and nut. Please note that the verticals are installed behind the brackets. Install 3 screws into the base plate and vertical connection. Locate the remaining purlins. These are end brace purlins, which are required for structural support. The end brace purlins attach at the pre-drilled holes in the end bays only, using 1/2 inch by 4 inch bolts and nuts. Drill 1/2 inch holes in the main purlins next to the end arch for the 1/2 inch by 4 inch bolts, washers, and nuts. Locate the cross cables for your building. Cross cables are required for structural support. The cross cables attach at the bases and at purlin mounting bolts. They extend for the length of the building or the first 50 feet of your building on both sides. This length depends on the total length of your building. Always install cable thimbles. Attach cables. Refer to your installation manual for exact cable connection locations. Ensure the building is square. Install identical cross cables on the opposite side of the building. To tension the cross cables, tighten the cable turnbuckles until appropriate cable tension is achieved. There should be approximately 1 inch of deflection. Be sure not to over-tighten. When tensioning is complete, tighten the turnbuckle lock nuts to secure. The cover for your building will be packaged in a protective bag. Check the label on the outside of the bag to ensure the dimensions of the cover reflect your building dimensions. Do not take the cover out of the bag until it is properly positioned. You will need at least 50 feet of clear space beside your building to pull the cover. Determine which side of your building has that amount of clear space and place the cover bag on the opposite side. The cover is packaged to unroll left to right, so place the cover bag on the appropriate side of the building. Place a protective layer, such as a ground sheet, under the area that you will be unrolling the cover on. Unroll the cover, being careful not to walk on it. Expose the fastening tube pocket by flipping the cover open. Locate the fastening tubes and 1/4 inch number 14 by 3/4 inch Tek screws. Fastening tubes are used to tension the cover over the framework of the building. It may help to use a plastic bottle stuck onto the end of the first tube to ease it through the pocket. The cover has built-in pockets on each side to slide the fastening tube into. The pockets run down the entire length of the cover. Push the fastening tubes through the pocket one section at a time, securing them with one Tek screw at each joint. As you push the tube through the pocket, ensure that the tube protrudes out of both ends of the pockets. This will help ensure that when you are pulling the cover maintains its position on the frame. Remember to install a plastic end plug on the end of each fastening tube when finished. Locate the tie-down straps. Before you pull the cover, you will want to secure one side of it to the building. To do this, thread the tie-down strap through the notch in the fastening tube pocket at each winch location. Place the two ends of the strap into the winch. Rotate the winch mechanism to engage the strap, leaving 12 to 14 inches of loose strap. You will now need 1/2 inch rope, 50 feet long, to pull the cover. If you are installing a building over 50 feet wide, you may require additional ropes. Tie one end of each rope to the first and last notch of the fastening tubes. Pass the free end of each rope over the building. It is important not to leave the cover unattended under any circumstances until final assembly and tightening has been completed. Do not pull the cover in windy conditions. With uniform tension, slowly pull the cover over the frame until the cover is evenly balanced. Now you want to secure the cover to the frame using the winches. Thread the tie-down straps through the notches on the fastening tubes and into the winch. Rotate the winch mechanism to engage the straps. You will not be doing the final tensioning of the cover at this point. You are only securing it. The installation manual instructs you to pre-assemble the cover PVC pipe and cover fastening pipes prior to installing them. As an option, this video will show you how to assemble the cover PVC pipe and cover fastening tubes as they are being installed. Screw the PVC tubes together in pairs using two number 8 18 by 1 inch panhead screws to make 4 20-foot lengths. Cut all lengths at 12 feet 8 inches. The 7-foot 4-inch long PVC sections will be installed in the lower wall. The 12-foot 8-inch long PVC section will be installed in the roof. It may be easier to loosen the winches to help install the PVC pipe. Pulling the end flap back away from the end truss will help in the lacing process. Use the supplied belting to lace the cover PVC to the end arches. Secure the belting at the top center and then apply tension as you lace down both sides. The recommended procedure is to use separate pieces of belting. The distance between the PVC pipe and the fastening tube should be approximately 11 inches. Fasten the belting at the bottom edge. If bracing was used, remove it after final tightening has been completed. You will need to add tension to the winches to remove as many wrinkles in the cover as possible. To secure the cover tie-down system, install a Tech 3 3/4 inch screw and pipe clip through the end lashing strap into the fastening tube. Install a cotter pin in the lashing winch's pilot hole to lock the release lever. Do not secure the end flaps at this time. Locate the end wall fabric. Lace a short piece of belting through the top center D-ring and temporarily suspend the end panel from the arch tube. The recommended procedure is to use separate pieces of belting and start by first lacing from one base all the way to the top center and tie off. Lace the belting loosely through the D-rings. Repeat this lace-up procedure for the other side. Remove the belting, suspending the panel and secure both belting ends. Then working from top down, adjust the panel lacing so that the end panel is flat and the D-rings touch the bottom of the arch tube. It is very important to adjust end panels and cover over the entire building to remove as many wrinkles as possible. Loose or sagging fabric is subject to movement in windy conditions and will reduce the life expectancy of the fabric. Cut the pipe pockets at the lashing winches and the door openings to allow for the lashing straps. The end panel fastening pipes fit inside the verticals. Cut the fastening pipes to fit inside the end verticals and install them in the pipe pockets. Add tension to the end panel by tightening the lashing winches to remove as many wrinkles as possible. Pulling the end flap back away from the end truss will help in the lacing of the end panel process. Cut a slit in the end panel 1 inch above the folded ratchet. Thread the end flap belting through the slit and tighten the end flap. Attach a 2-inch ratchet with J-hook to the lashing winch release bar on the corner base plate. You will need to ratchet, release, and re-ratchet a number of times until the belt tension does not allow further ratcheting. On the inside, lace D-rings to the header bar. Cut out the fabric at the doors. Cut so that you have excess fabric that you can grip and wrap around the frame. Apply tension to the fabric when wrapping the fabric around the door frame. Use screws and flat washers or cleating material to secure fabric to the horizontals and verticals. Cut 6-inch slits in the excess fabric to give you a better grip when tensioning the fabric. Trim excess fabric after the fabric is secured. Adding dimensional lumber to the inside of the steel frame will make finishing the fabric easier. There are several door options for your building. Refer to the appropriate installation manual for a Norseman supplied door. The final step is to register your building for warranty. Follow detailed instructions in the owner's warranty and maintenance package provided. Thank you for purchasing a Norseman Structures building.